Yesterday I got to about 30%. I'm on chapter 20, and one thing that I really like about this book is that it's dual POV. We get both Donatella's and Scarlett's point of views in this book, which I feel like that's a big reason why I'm enjoying this book so far. I don't know like why I didn't like just Donatella's point of view in Legendary, the second book, but I just wanted more from Scarlett. Like once we finished Caraval and then it switched to, like I get why it switched to Donatella, but like I was like, I'm not done with Scarlett yet. Like I feel like there's more. So I'm glad that we get her in this book. But I'm not like hating it. I do like it. I'm reading it really quick because like the world of Caraval is so interesting and like her writing's really good. So we'll see where it goes. I'm glad to like finally be getting through this book. So it's currently January 9th. I don't know when I started this book, but you guys know. And I'm finally going to hopefully sit down and just finish it because we have other series we need to finish for this video and I'm just tired of reading this, honestly. I'm 60%. Honestly, it's getting better. At first, I wasn't really liking it, wasn't really interested in the story, but now it's like picking up, getting better. So I'm going to just try to sit down and finish it right now. I finally finished Finale last night. It's taken me so long to finish this trilogy and I just, okay, words. Literally like nothing happened at the beginning and then the end was so rushed and so much was happening. I will say I did like the ending more than like the first 60% of this book. I like how we got, well, is this a spoiler? I liked how everything like came to, what is it called? Fruition? I'm not gonna say that because I don't know what that even is. At the end of this, I just liked how everything came together and like it was explained and it all made sense. But I feel like she was like rushed at the end. I don't know why. I'm talking about the author, by the way, Stephanie Garber. I feel like she had like so much to say and like rushed it at the end. And I'm like, why did we need it to be so slow at the beginning then? We could have just made the end better. Now all I can think about is Once Upon a Broken Heart, but we're not going to start that in this video because this is about finishing series, not starting series, but I will be starting that series soon, so maybe I'll do a whole reading vlog for that. I don't know. But I'm happy to be finally done with this trilogy. It's been like so long. So we're gonna put her down and pick up our next book. I'm honestly a little bit nervous to start this book because I literally just finished Onyx Storm earlier today. And a part of me was like, I should wait and settle in that before I read another book, but I'm in like the mood to read. Like I'm in the grind, I'm in the zone. So I feel like if I don't pick up a book right now, I'm just gonna get into a bigger slump. I'm not in a slump right now. Like I feel good. So this could go one of two ways. But I feel like Two Twisted Crowns is a good book to like pick up after Onyx Storm because it's still fantasy and there's romance and I really liked the first book, so I think hopefully this is a good book to pick up after and just keep me flowing and in a good reading pace. I don't know. I read One Dark Window a little bit ago. I don't remember exactly what month, but I really enjoyed it and it was in a reading vlog, so I'll put that up here if you're interested in that. But I'm really excited to read the second one. I've just been like waiting for the perfect time. I do remember a good bit from One Dark Window. I remember like the Providence cards and Elspeth and the Nightmare and Raven. I remember the magic system being so interesting and just really liking the Nightmare and like learning more about him. So I feel like I need to go grab One Dark Window and like remember exactly how it ended. That way I can go straight into this one. Maybe I'll just look up on TikTok actually. But yeah, like I said, I did like it, so I'm interested to read this one and mark this little duology off the list. Okay, so I just read the last chapter of One Dark Window because I was scared I was going to get it spoiled for me on TikTok. Or specifically Two Twisted Crowns, I was scared for that to get spoiled for me on TikTok. So now I'm caught up. I remember more now, so I'm flooding back. This is why I usually read duologies in series back to back because I have like a short-term memory. Like I remember vibes and I remember certain things from books, but like it's kind of good and bad because in a way like I could reread One Dark Window right now and like I'd be like, oh my gosh, but I would also like remember like once I start reading it'd flood back eventually, you know. But it's also bad because like I said, I kind of forgot. But I'm there now. I'm ready for Two Twisted Crowns now that I know how that ended off, and I'm excited for this and I'm a little bit nervous. There's a lot in here, so I'm gonna start this now. I'm now on part 2 of Two Twisted Crowns. Part 2 is called To Barter, so I'm interested in that. I'm really glad that I decided to pick this book up, especially after reading Onyx Storm, because it's still fantasy and it's like an easy read so far. I don't feel like I'm bored or the writing is like hard to read. I've been flying through it pretty much, and I haven't like wanted to put it down. Also, I was a little bit worried since I read One Dark Window kind of a while ago that I would forget a lot of things, which I kind of did, but this did a good job at like reminding us of who is who and like things that happened in the first book, which is really nice. So I don't feel like lost at all, and I'm loving the multiple POVs we're getting in this book, because in One Dark Window we didn't have that at all. So I really like how we have all the different POVs, especially because they're all the three POVs that we're getting are all doing different things, especially Elsa's point of view. Her chapters are a little bit short, which I wish they were longer, but I understand why they're short. There's not like much to report back on, I guess. But I'm nervous. I feel like I still want to like Nightmare, and I've always said this. I've always liked him, and I always have said that I think he's deep down good inside. He hasn't really given us too many reasons to like not think he is. So I'm holding on hope that he's actually good and he's gonna like help everybody. Right now they're about to go on the quest to find the it's like hard to like say what this book is about because of spoilers, but they're about to go on a quest to continue trying to find what they need to lift the curse. And there's also a new kind of like romance plot going on between two characters that I did not see coming. You can kind of maybe infer it from One Dark Window, but you can definitely infer it from the beginning of this book, so I'm excited for that. I hope it like develops. So I'm gonna continue reading it and figure out what is going on, because like I said, the whole like beginning was kind of just a little bit of a recap and a little bit setting up, and now it's about to like get good, I bet. So I'm gonna read. Guys, the romance in this, I'm like giggling. I didn't expect this romance plotline in this book because it's between two characters that I did not expect to be getting to know in this way, but I'm here for it. I didn't know I needed it, but I do, and I'm here for it. The scene with the chalice card, I love it. It's like they're like low-key enemies, but like they're aligned in a way for mutual benefit. But the man likes her. Like the man has been liking her. You can tell from like the first chapter. I love that trope. Like when the man loves her, when the man has always been in love with her. Give me it. Something happened to where this character can't technically feel emotions, so it's interesting, the romance, because she can still feel desire. And I just know he's going to crack that cold little heart of hers, and it's going to be great. I'm like giggling. I need to keep reading this scene. I just had to let you guys know. Oh my god. Okay. See, I love this chair, but sometimes it just sends me straight up and I get like motion sick. Okay, let me move the camera before I knock it over. So I haven't had a chance to read yet today, but now I'm finally going to sit down and hopefully maybe finish it. I don't know, I have about this much left. so I don't know if I'll actually be able to finish it, but I'm gonna try. I was thinking about this last night, but like I'm already 262 pages into this book and I feel like nothing has happened. But then I look down and I've like read so much. And also like this book, I just read it so quick. Like the writing's just really easy to follow. I'll look down and I've read like 100 pages, which is good. But then when I'm like, well, what did I just read? And I think about it, I'm like, not much has happened, which is kind of crazy, but I'm still enjoying reading it. It's just kind of weird to think. I'm like, we haven't really accomplished anything, but I'm here for the ride and I'm enjoying the ride. It's just like a slow build up, I guess. Like there's different goals that our characters are trying to achieve and none of them have achieved anything yet. I mean, one group has gotten close. They have to go through like three barters in order to get the thing that they're looking for, and they've already done one of them and they're at the second one now. And those are interesting. Like the barters is very, very interesting, a little bit dark, which I like reading about, but it's just like a lot of building up. I'm guessing the end of this is going to have like a lot going on and we're going to learn a lot, so I'm ready to lock in and see. I don't know what happened to me, but I literally cannot sit in silence while reading anymore. I used to be able to do it and sit in silence all the time, and all of a sudden I can't. I think it's because, this is off topic, but I think it's because I started listening to audiobooks all the time, and even like if it was silent I would just pick up an audiobook, so maybe that has something to do with it. But lately I've been listening to this Reading in a Cozy Library No Vocals playlist on Spotify while I read, and it's very cozy and comforting. I can't listen to music that has words or else I get very distracted, so this is what I've been listening to. We just found something out that like has been hinted throughout the whole book. Like I was pretty sure I figured it out earlier and it was just confirmed. You're kind of just like waiting for the characters to like put it together, and now one of them has. I only have a little bit left and like things are going down. Like every conflict is like arising all at once. Like this, like the slowness of like the beginning has all come to like happen at once in this moment. Okay, let me keep reading. I'm sweating. This is getting intense. I only have like I have like less than 30 pages left, so. Oh my gosh. I'm sad. I didn't expect to be sad. I don't know. As you guys saw, I did end up finishing 2 Twisted Crowns the other night, and like you saw, I was not expecting to like feel sad at the end of this book, but like sad in a good way, if that makes sense. Like I was sad, but it still ended up being a nice, happy, wrapped up ending. It was more of like a bittersweet ending in a way. If you've read it, you'll understand, but I really enjoyed this book a lot more than I thought I would. I haven't read many sequels to books where I've just like felt like it's completely added to the series in like such a unique and good way. Usually with sequels, I'm just like, okay, I liked them, but I don't love them and I don't think they're usually necessary. Immediately what comes to mind is Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I did not really like Ruthless Vows and I felt like a lot of it was unnecessary and it just wasn't like what I really wanted in a duology or in a sequel, but this one was the exact opposite of that. I feel like it added to the story. It made me care about characters that were more like secondary characters that we didn't really know much about in One Dark Window. We learned so much more about them. I loved them even more, and also there's like still a continuation of the plot and there's still things going on that are like necessary in a way. Also, there's an unexpected romance that you guys saw me discover, which I'm obsessed with. One person's POV in this book literally carried the book for me, and I was obsessed with it. Every time we read the POV, I was in love. And like I said, I just feel like it was a perfect sequel to a duology and wrapped it up perfectly, and I'm obsessed with it. I feel like I flew through this book. It was such a good read, especially after Onyx Storm, which I know is like unnecessary in this video, but it's true. It didn't put me in a book slump. It kept me like wanting to read, and now I'm finally done with this Shepard King duology, so we can mark off another series or duology from the list. I started As Good as Dead earlier today, and I actually already switched over to the audiobook of this because I just couldn't get into it at the beginning. It was just a little bit slow to me. I don't know if it's the fact that it's like a hardcover book and I just like wasn't feeling like holding it, or if like the writing was just slow to me. I don't know, but I've already switched over to the audiobook on Libby, and I'm already 30% into it, so it's going by faster definitely through the audiobook. And now I feel like I finally know a little bit of what's going on and can tell you. So first of all, before we get into what this book is about, I do want to just like mention my little brief history with the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I started this trilogy like years ago by this point. I don't even know what year. I'll try to put it here if I can find it on my Goodreads. But I read the first book however long ago, and I liked it, didn't love it. I thought it was like way overhyped, and I just didn't love the book, so I never continued the series. Then last year the TV show came out and I watched it and I absolutely loved it. I was like, wait, maybe I'll like the rest of the series if I just like try it again now. Okay, hey Sally. So I picked up the second book as an audiobook, but I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was just like so, like the plot was just so different than what I was expecting it to be. I feel like it had like no connection to the first book, and like I don't know, like it did, but I also felt like it was so like outlandish and so far off that I was like, what am I even reading about? Also, it had been a while at that point from when I read the first book, but I just watched the show, so I feel like I still had everything like in my brain. But the second book just took a turn where I did not expect it to. So then I just never picked up the third book, but now that I'm doing this video, I'm like, okay, I need to finish this trilogy. Like it's been on my TBR forever. So that's why I picked up the third book finally after all this time. And I do think this book is off to a better start than the second book for me personally. I feel like I get why things are happening in this book, and like it connects to the first book already a little bit, at least more than the second book to me, and it makes sense. Like Pip is kind of going down this downward spiral because of the events that happened to her in the second book. Like it was kind of traumatic for her, so she's kind of dealing with those repercussions, and we're also seeing Max Hastings, who you may or may not know if you've read the series, and I feel like that makes sense. Like that storyline is making sense to me because he is in the first book, so I feel like it makes sense. You know, it makes sense. That's all I can say, I guess. Okay, I guess I'll stop holding up the book because I'm not even reading the physical copy. I'm still gonna listen to the audiobook. But so far, I do like the audiobook. I have to listen to it at least at 2 times speed, which is kind of crazy to me. Usually I listen anywhere from like 1.75 to 1.85, but this just narrator, I guess, is a little bit slower for me, so I've been listening at 2 times speed, but I'm getting it all up here. Don't you worry, I know what's going on, but I just can't really tell you because of spoiler reasons. But I like the direction where it's headed. I'm interested. We just got to like a big plot point of like what's going to, I assume, be the major plot of this book. It's kind of like Pip researching a past serial killer's case, I guess, and I think she's gonna be doing it on her podcast, and then kind of like the past is like catching up to her in the present in a way that I can't say, but like it's very interesting how it's all so far playing out. And also Ravi is there, which I love a little bit of romance, so far I'm liking it. I'm interested to see like where it goes, if it's gonna like go downhill or if I'm gonna like it as much as A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I don't know. I guess we'll see, but I do want to just like sit and relax and maybe like color and listen to the audiobook, so let's continue with this.
File name. Download. Billy Karras Police Interview.pdf. Page 41. Lieutenant Nolan.
Come on, Billy, let's not messing around here.
Okay, oh, I can't hear myself. Hold on. Okay, excuse my appearance. It is Sunday. It is reset day. Also, I'm a little bit congested, so if you hear that in my voice, I'm sorry. But while I was cleaning, I was continuing to listen to As Good as Dead. I am now 55%. I just got to part 2. Things are going down. It's crazy. I was not expecting the turn that it took. Actually, I was, but I didn't expect it so quickly and early on, I guess, in the book. Like, we're only 50% and things are going down. And I feel like one, like, plot twist kind of just happened, but it was very, like, obvious to me. Like, I wasn't shocked at all of what, like, we discovered. I'm curious to see, like, where the story's gonna go now. Like, I'm confused on, like, where else it could go. I'm gonna keep listening. I'm confused on where we're going, but I'm ready for it, and I'm here for it, and I'm hooked. And I'm gonna do laundry. I've just been sitting here coloring. Look at this. Oh, also I got new markers and they bleed through, but I'm proud of her. Anyways, I'm like 80% now. Things have taken a turn that I was not expecting. We're on this like whole other, like the first 50% was one plot and now the second 50% is a whole different plot. But like, I don't mind it. It's just taken a turn I was not expecting. I'm entertained. I like this darker side of Pip and I'm here for it. I'm here for everything and I'm curious to see how it's gonna end. I don't know if it's all gonna like blow up in her face or work out and like we'll end in like a happy, everyone's fine kind of way. I don't know. Also, I only have like 4 hours left before this audiobook is like returned through Libby, so I need to speed it up. Yesterday I got to about 90% into As Good as Dead and then my audiobook was returned because I used Libby and my hold on it expired and then it went straight back. So luckily I have a physical copy because I still want to finish this book obviously and I only have a little bit left, so I'm just going to sit here and finish it really quick. Things are going down and I'm nervous. I'm stressed. I'm stressed, like this has to end and there's not a lot, so. What was that ending? I can't show you, but I feel unsettled with it. But I think I just need to think about it more. I'll come back with my thoughts. Okay, I've had some time to sort of think about this book. The ending really shocked me and then I needed to collect my thoughts because I didn't expect it to end. It kind of just ends and like it's not necessarily open-ended, but it does like feel a little bit unfinished, or I felt a little bit unsettled at first, but then I like sat back and thought about it and I was like, okay, I can get it. But I feel like a lot of it at the end was like back and forth and rushed a little bit. Oh, I'm holding it upside down this entire time. That's great. But overall, I did enjoy the book. I enjoyed this one definitely more than the second book in the series. This one I felt like it had more purpose and it made sense. It wasn't just like a crazy, more like random mystery. This one had a mystery that made sense and connected with everything that had come previously. And also I really enjoyed seeing Pip's downfall, I guess, in a way. Not like her actual downfall, but just like her struggling with like everything that has happened to her since the first book. Like it makes sense that she would be struggling not only mentally but just like internally also with like everything that she's gone through. And I thought that was interesting to see some of her like darker thoughts, I guess. The mystery was interesting as well. The only thing was crazy was just as you saw me reading it, like the first 50%, like you find out what the mystery is, I guess, and then you still have a whole nother 50%. And I was like, what is this gonna even be? But the second 50% was very interesting. It was a little bit dragged out in my opinion, but it was still interesting and entertaining, I guess. I love Ravi, I love Pip, I love their relationship. It was very cute and like wholesome and like exactly what you would picture a high school relationship to be, but like a healthy one, not like a toxic one. So it was really cute and like wholesome to read about. And I would be interested to see if they like continue the TV show with different seasons, like each season is each book. I would really want to see this one as a show. I think it'd be really good. I'm glad I finally read it. Glad I'm finally finished with this trilogy. It's been on my TBR forever. And yeah. Alright, it's time to do the end of video recap. So as you saw, I finished 3 series throughout this video. I know these are technically trilogies and duologies, but I'm counting them as series just to like make it easy. So first I finished the Caraval trilogy. Also, I know there is a new novella called Spectacular, but I'm not counting that in the finishing the series because the original trilogy is complete now. If I wanted to move on to the novella, I could, and I also have the physical copy, so I might in December since it's like a Christmas novella. But overall, I'm counting the original trilogy as completed. So I read Finale, which ended up completing the Caraval trilogy for me, and I ended up rating it 3 stars like you saw. It was a nice like end of a trilogy, I suppose. Just overall, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Caraval trilogy. I guess I'd rate it like a 4-star trilogy as a whole because I did enjoy the series. I just didn't like this book specifically, the second book, and then this one was just okay, but I loved the first book, so I'm glad that I finally finished it and can be like completed. That way especially I can move on to Once Upon a Broken Heart. Then I finished the Shepard King duology by reading Two Twisted Crowns, and I ended up rating this 4 stars, but as a whole, as a duology, it's a 5-star duology. Lately I've been really thinking about this because I rated both of these books 4 stars, but as a whole together they're 5 stars, and I think it's because like from start to end it's 5 stars like with everything combined, but when you separate them they're only 4 stars. I don't know if anyone else is like that, if anyone else's brain works like that, but it does for me. I really love this duology. I think everyone should read it, even if you're like getting into fantasy. I don't think it's too complicated to understand. I love the romance in it. I love the found family. I love the magic. It's really, really unique and interesting. And I'm really glad that I finished this duology as well. And then lastly, I finally finished the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. This has been on my TBR shelf forever, like you guys have heard me say throughout this video, and I finished it finally by reading As Good as Dead. This book kind of surprised me, honestly. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did because I didn't like the second book. I thought it was a nice way of tying in the first book and just finishing and tying up all the loose ends of this trilogy, but I will say the ending kind of annoyed me a little bit, like you saw. So I gave this 3 stars. As a whole, I don't know. I guess this trilogy is like 4-star trilogy, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite. I feel like if I would have read it at a different time, like maybe when I first got into reading, I would have liked it a lot more. But now that my taste has changed a lot, I don't think this necessarily is my taste anymore. But I love the show. I will continue watching the show if they release more seasons. And I do think if you like YA mysteries, you'll like this. It's just, I don't know if YA mystery is my thing anymore. I don't know. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching this video and watching me complete all of the series that I'm in the middle of. I don't typically like stop in the middle of series, so that's why I didn't really have a lot of books or series to finish in this video, because I'm the type of person that reads a series back to back to back, and that usually works for me. But thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. That way you can see more reading vlogs from me. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon in my next video.